Hello and welcome to Paint Color Fact Friday, where I break through all the paint color confusion and talk about paint color facts so you can understand color better and get to your perfect paint color quicker and with more confidence. I'm Susan Grant, owner of Color Envy Design. I'm an interior decorator, 3D render artist, and interior paint color specialist. That means when clients hire me for paint color selection, we use color facts and color data to start the process of getting their colors just right. No more stressing and guessing, and yes, these things can be done 100% remotely. Today's paint color fact is about when you change the light, you change the color, and more specifically, does it really matter which direction your room is facing when picking a paint color? First, let's break it down a little bit into what happens with a light bulb. How does, when you change the light, you change the color really work, and what does that mean? Well, very basically, a paint color can only reflect back the amount of color of wavelength that is reflected upon it from a light bulb. So if you have a warm light bulb, like an Edison type bulb, that might be deficient in blue color wavelength, you're only going to get reflected back the reds and the orange and the warm colors in that paint color because that's all that's being reflected upon it. It's deficient in the blue, so you won't get any blue that's in that color or any blue reflected back from it. Conversely, when you use a more full spectrum light bulb that has a full spectrum of colors of wavelength reflecting onto the paint color, then you'll get all the colors reflected back. That's why they're called full spectrum lights. So when you change the light, you change the color. We all kind of know that instinctively, but that's how it works. Now, how does that translate into, does the direction your room is facing really make a difference when picking a paint color? Let's talk about it. Perhaps you've seen a narrative something like this when looking online for some paint color support and some paint color information. So this color, when used in a southern facing room, has a warm beige undertone, and it might lean a little bit yellow depending on the time of day. But if you use the same color in a northern facing room, it's going to have a little bit more blue and green undertones. Come on, is this really helping you in picking a paint color? I don't think so. The fact is, you can't really repeat information like that because you can't put a static label on all southern facing rooms have warm light and all northern facing rooms have cold light. That's too broad of a statement. I'm going to make a broad statement and say, I don't really care what direction your room is facing when picking a paint color because the light is what it is. It is impossible to predict how any paint color is going to react just because a room is north facing or south facing. I think what's happening is people are getting confused with abundance of light and when you get light and how much light you get with the temperature of the light and the quality of the light you'll get based on the direction that your room is facing. They're two totally different things. Of course, throughout the day, the lighting is going to change in any space if you have a window. But there are too many variables to say that this is going to happen just because you're facing this direction. So let's talk about what those variables are right now, and you can see for yourself why putting too much stock in which direction your room is facing isn't serving you in picking a paint color. I'm in a southern facing hallway of a 2-story entry with an overhang. Look at the paint. Do you think it really matters that it's southern facing? I don't think so. This room has a huge southern facing window and 2 west facing windows. How do you account for that when picking a paint color? This southern facing room has an overhang. Same house, southern facing room, no overhang, 20 feet away. Do you think that this room has the same lighting as the other room because they're both south facing? Definitely not. This is an eastern facing basement room with a window up top. Do you think this has the same type of light situation as the room directly above it on the second floor? I don't think so. Here is a room directly above the basement, 2 stories up with huge windows. Do you think that this room gets the same type of light as the basement just because they both face east? Absolutely not. So as you can see from those examples, it's not a good idea to speak in absolutes in terms of expecting light to behave the same way just because the rooms are facing the same direction, which means that your paint colors are not going to behave the same way from room to room just because they're facing the same direction. What if you have a tree in front of the window? What if you have a fence outside that's blocking the light? What if you have a big building? What if you live in the city and the light's completely blocked? It doesn't matter which direction. What if you have 2 or 3 walls worth of windows? What if you have a skylight? What if you're in the basement? What if you have an overhang or a pony wall in the room? Every room's inherent lighting situation is unique, and that's why it's not serving you to put a lot of stock into which direction the room is facing when picking a paint color. People are getting confused with abundance and how much and when you get light with color temperature. They're two totally different things, so don't confuse the two. So I hope you found some good takeaways from this. Please weigh in. Do you have any opinions or questions about color temperature and direction the rooms are facing when picking a paint color? I would love to hear from you. I know this is a very hot topic in the design and color world, so I might be pushing a few buttons here, but it's a risk I'm willing to take because I'm trying to bring you paint color facts and rationale so you can make your own decisions based on facts. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this one all the way to the end, and I'm wishing you and your family a very wonderful and very colorful weekend. Take care, my friends.